Hello everyone, about to share the week ahead energy reading, so thank you for tuning in. I'm really thoroughly enjoying these messages at the moment. For those of you that tuned in last week, you'll know how emotional that was for me, and it's been a wild week. There's a lot happening across so many different areas. Good things, exciting things from an awakening perspective, things that I think are really going to start to help to shift some people into starting to at least ask some questions as to, is this really reality? Some really devastating, heartbreaking things continuing to happen, and also just some unfathomable decisions, calls, orders. The world is an interesting place to exist within right now. I last night, being the equinox, went out for a sunset bushwalk, which was beautiful, and then came home and did an activation, which was really powerful. And I had Yeshua and Mary Magdalene come through. I've also just recorded just now a channeled message after pulling a guide from my Divine Masters deck, and look who came through. The channeled message feels like it was this one speaking through me. Beautiful, powerful message, a really strong message around the idea of persecution and how we're kind of at this peak of that ability for that process to be influencing our fear and us being trapped, and that right now we're being asked to go within, look at where we're persecuting ourselves, judging ourselves, and persecuting and judging others, and do that work, ready to step into the energy of renewal, rebirth, and really authentically stepping into our path. Definitely feels like a connection with that spring equinox, with the Ostera, with the Easter energy and story. And even for those of us in the southern hemisphere where it's the autumn equinox, that idea of going within, like we're about to step into that season of I guess a bit more solitude, a bit more being indoors, looking within, doing our own inner work, slowing down kind of energy, which feels almost contrasting the energy of stepping into the Aries season, stepping into the new astrological year. Even this morning, I've been doing a whole bunch of planning around some things that are happening in my life this year. So it's kind of walking that balance, recognizing that a balance is happening across the globe with the different seasons happening, those different energies, and how can we then lean into a little bit of both sides within our own life. But let's see what wants to come through from the cards for the week ahead energy reading. I'm going to start with the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. As I got ready for this message today, I just really felt a need to connect with kind of that ancient wisdom. And so I have pulled out decks and cards that represent that to me, and this is one of them being Sacred Symbols. I've also got my Starseed deck, because part of that channeled message was we need to be stepping into our purpose and authenticity. And I've got Native Spirit here too, so I'll see what I get called to use next, but I definitely want to start with this one. So let's see what wants to come through for us for the Mind Body Soul Transformation Collective messages for the week ahead that are of the light and the best and highest good of all. Messages that speak to the energy of the week ahead. Thank you, Spirit. Really, until next week, we continue to be in similar energies to what we're in right now. That was way too many. Divinity was one of those cards that came out, and then Trust has fallen out separately. So I'm going to take that. I'll do a few more shuffles. What I was saying is the energy for the week ahead is much what we're already in. There isn't too much happening on an astrological level for the following week until next weekend, where we do have the partial solar eclipse in Aries, which feels like it's going to be big and bring about significant transformation. So remembering that energy doesn't just happen on that day, it peaks on that day. There is continuing to be, it feels like a build up to that point, and to things happening across the globe that are kind of, coming to a tipping point, really. Any other messages from this deck, Spirit? Sure. Honestly, so we've got trust. I will read from the book, but as I was looking at this card while I was shuffling, I was thinking about the message I've just channeled, which was speaking to looking at your shadows. And what I was thinking about here is starting to recognize the light within the dark, the things that we've kept hidden, that we've kept veiled because of shame, because of fear of persecution, because of judgment, because it's not what society expects from us, whatever it might be that causes us to really hide those things or turn away from those things, not face those things. We're needing to start to shine a light on those and recognize, not only shine a light on it, but recognize the light within it. It's the other thing that this card kind of looked like to me was almost a hourglass, like as if it is the time's up. I'm looking right now. I have one book on my desk, and it's this one, which is all about, let me actually read, the end of the Kali Yuga, the impending planetary transformation. I'm just going to leave that for now, and we'll see if that comes back through. But that, the time's up part of that, as I was looking at that book, feels big. Shadow, I've already mentioned. Right now, we are being asked through my channeled message to look at our shadows. Very interestingly, the next module for my awakening course that we're about to work on is shadow work. So this feels very aligned with how that course has played out, which actually has been the whole way through. Again, continues to blow my mind. And then having the courage to do this because of, I was having this discussion in my awakening course group container this morning, to speak your truth, to walk your path, to step into what you're here to do takes courage. And it takes courage because of that fear of judgment, because of that fear of persecution, and because that sometimes those fears aren't just fears, they're actually realities. And the message in the channel message before was, unfortunately, that's part of some of our stories, that we will be persecuted, we will be judged, and have been in past lives for speaking the truth, for helping to allow others to recognize the truth, to recognize the divinity within. And to face that head on does take a significant amount of courage. It also takes boundaries to make sure you stay aligned with your truth, to not let others push you off your path. So I'm just going to read, I think I'm just going to read the trust card from the book. These are really short little excerpts. All right. Trust. Card number 16. Step into the unknown. All may not be revealed at this time. Trust in unseen forces. Meditate on this to let go of all attachments or possibilities. Free yourself from your dharma and increase your trust in your guides and the universe. The symbol is the void, and it is inspired by the nothing in the moving, the never-ending story, which actually I don't recall, so I'm going to look that up now. Okay, this feels relevant, so I'm actually going to read from the website that I was just on. I haven't watched the never-ending story since I was a kid, so I have no recollection of anything aside from the whatever the large dog's name was. Anyway, the nothing is the main antagonist of the story, and it is the result of human apathy, cynicism, and the denial of childish dreams. That is to say, the distaste for stories and the negation of imagination, hopes, and wishes, forming Fantasia's very essence. For this world is made of everything that was ever imagined by human mind since the dawn of time. The nothing is a force of absolute oblivion, erasing things and people from existence, leaving no trace whatsoever, as if they were never there to begin with. All Fantasians in its presence are compelled to jump into it to meet their doom. In turn, its victims get turned into lies and deceits in the real world, furthering humanity's loss of dreams and empowering it to erase more, creating a vicious circle that can only be broken with renewed fantasy. See what else comes through with the cards, but between that and the channeled message, and even the discovery that's being reported across social media as of yesterday with the structures under the pyramid in Giza, I'm just really getting the strong feeling that we are being asked to remember and believe. Remember who we are. Remember the divine within us. Believe in the divine within us. Believe that there might be more to our past, to humanity, to ourselves than we have been told to believe. And that unless we can start being open to those possibilities, more and more of our truth will be stripped away from us by them playing on our shadows, by them really making us fearful and scared to look for the truth, to speak the truth, to share the truth, to consider the truth. That persecution piece around, it feels like witch wound energy. I'm getting the sense that there might be a pendulum swing this week to really try and scare people, or to make people not want to speak up across a whole range of things. And this might be as commonplace as social media algorithms and shadow banning people on social media. In other ways, it might be, we're already seeing this, persecution of people speaking up, deportation, expulsion, termination. And then they believe the more they can go to these extremes, the more people will be too afraid to speak up, too afraid to share their truths, share their thoughts, consider possibilities, will be put back in the box, back in their cages, back in the control. And it really is a last-ditch effort because time is up. Light is about to be shown on the dark parts of ourselves and the dark parts of society and the dark parts of the systems in which we exist. And it will take courage, a lot of courage. I'm going to go to the Starseed deck, I think, and we'll... Anything else, Spirit? Any other messages for this energy for the week ahead? This is the card that came out. I remember. Soul plan, the fated life versus the destined life. I'm going to read that to you. I've also got longing for home and lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. See if there's anything in the native spirit one, and then I will read that I remember card to you, and we'll move on to the tarot. Any messages from this deck, Spirit, or this energy for the week ahead? Cards are really stuck. Tracker. Okay, and then I've got tracker. So let's find my books. Starting with I remember, because of course that card came out. I don't think I've ever pulled this card before, but couldn't be a more perfect message. I remember. There was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you are living right now, when you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life. We live in a world of free will, and therefore these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it is because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life. to trust the path your soul is calling you toward, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at a crossroads, at a moment when you are being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you, or choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a change of career, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You are being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that is undefined, it's normal for doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater plan. Every hero in his or her life journey comes eye to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It is all part of the larger plan. What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? That feels spot on. Spot on in the fact that we all need to remember why we're here at this point in time. We are human on this earth right now to be part of this yuga shift, to be part of this transition of humanity, this transition into the 5D, into new earth, this great awakening, whatever part of that you want to focus on, whatever phrasing you want to use. We're remembering the divinity that our great divine masters have been telling us about all along. And to truly step into that takes courage, takes facing our shadows, and takes loving all parts of ourselves, just as we do the divine. Holy moly, these messages these last few weeks have just been so beautiful. All right, tracker seems like an interesting one to come out. So let's see what that's about. Tracker. All right, focus your intent and your passion on one thing rather than being scattered in different directions. Be single-minded in what's truly important in your life and let everything else go. Track the unseen but very real stream of energy to that which you desire. Track the unseen but very real stream of energy to that which you desire. There's a butterfly outside my window. What came through for me then was just that nothing energy again. Like, track the unseen but very real stream of energy. It's time to start paying attention to what you're open to, what you're believing, what you are maybe seeing within the world, recognizing within the world that's hard to comprehend within maybe the mindset and the material ideas in which you have been previously grounded. Really starting to be open to those possibilities, because only then will we actually be able to bring kind of this shift into a reality. The native spirit wants you to know, trackers have the ability to be so focused that everything but their goal disappears. What you see around you is the result of what you focus on. When you direct your thoughts towards good, you attract positive experiences and people into your life. But when you focus on what isn't working, you create even more challenging situations. If you aren't pleased with the direction of your life, concentrate on what you desire, not on what you don't want. To develop inner power, focus intently on one thing. Being scattered in a myriad of directions dilutes your strength. Devote your attention to your family, community, career, relationships, hobbies, or anything else that you are passionate about. Diminish activities that aren't essential to your goals, and it will be just a matter of time before miracles begin to occur. To me, this card, obviously the messages that are in that text may resonate with you at this point in your life, just as an individual existing within the current reality. But to me, in the context of the other cards and messages we've got here, this is speaking to two things. One, recognizing that what we put our energy into is the world which we create around ourselves. So to be really mindful of what we're focusing our energy on. And again, what I already said is that message of being open to that which we can't see, but is still very real. And if we're wanting to create something brand new that we haven't experienced before in our lives, then we need to start focusing our energy on that, focusing on the possibilities of that, bringing light to that which we want to create. And that the world right now is doing everything it can to scatter our attention, to distract us, to push us into fear, whatever it might be, to keep us off this path, off this track, off this forging of a new path. And that's the message that came to me when I first looked at this card. Is I've spent a bit of time in nature recently, and for those of you that watch these messages regularly, or those that live in the area near me, you'll know that we recently had a significant weather event. And what I've noticed going into trails that I'm a regular on is that the landscape has been completely changed, particularly by water. Feels like I'm going somewhere really big with this. Let me just focus on what came through first, and then we'll bring through whatever else is coming through there. So it's this idea of where we focus our energy, we are creating a new path. We're forging our way through a new path. As I said that, the other thing that was coming through, as I said, particularly by water, was this idea that water holds memory. And so that is also something that we can tap into to help us better recognize the possibilities of what might have come before that we haven't been told about. And the pyramid discovery this week is just a very small example of what else is out there, what else is possible. And I know there's so many people out there right now that are really tapping into these discoveries, because that's their path, that's their purpose right here in this time. So water might be something that you can use to help you recognize what your purpose is, to bring that ancient memory, past life memory online for you, but also just that idea of flowing with that path of water to help guide you on this journey. Like really thinking about what is in flow for me versus what is resistance. Holy moly. Okay, now as I said, when I was pulling cards, I really felt drawn to some more of like that ancient wisdom kind of idea. And so I am going with my traditional tarot deck, Magician at the bottom of the deck as I've shuffled, just because, and I don't often use this deck because I'm a Taurus ruled by Venus, like pretty things. So I often go for my pretty decks. But anyway, let's see. I'm sure there is, as with all things, rhyme and reason within this. So messages for the week ahead for the Mind, Body, Soul Transformation Collective. Thank you, Spirit. What do we need to know? Tapping into this energy a little bit further. We need to know. Thank you. Three of Cups. The Devil. Until on the floor. It is a Two of Cups, Eight of Cups. Holy moly, that's water. The water message wasn't wrong. I have the Four of Cups. I think that's, no, Knight of Wands. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? No. Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. What we're not seeing that we actually can free ourselves from. All right, so of the, what have I got here? 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are cup energy. I have the 1, Ace, 2, 3, 4 of cups, and the Eight of Cups, as well as Devil energy and the Knight of Wands. I still might clarify some of these, but there's a few messages coming through from how these cards have come out for me. We've got Ace of Cups in the middle. This can speak to a love offer, love coming in, but with everything that I've already tapped into with the channel message and then already, to me, this is starting to open our hearts up to receive and to feel the love that exists without even needing to connect with anyone else. Like, this is the love of ourselves, the love and recognition that we are all one, and that this is the central energy that we really need to focus on to help us move forward, to help us to have the courage and trust and conviction to remember, and the conviction to move forward and create from that energy of recognizing how powerful and loved and supported we are right now. Now, on this side of the Ace of Cups, I had the Three of Cups, the Devil, and the Two of Cups. Now, the Devil definitely is speaking to this energy of control. The Devil is definitely speaking to the energy of control. You can see that they are chained. I've just got to cover up nudity. And this is what we're needing to release ourselves from, to no longer let that influence us. And with the Three of Cups and Two of Cups either side of the Devil energy, there's a few messages that are coming through. So one is that I think there are connections coming in, friendships, possibly love partnerships, that when they come in from a place where you have already stepped into your love of yourself and your honoring of yourself and you're walking in your own path, will be true soul connections and will support you in releasing yourself from that which no longer serves you. Unfortunately, the other message that I'm kind of tapping into here is that there are some of you that exist within friendships, within love partnerships, that in some ways feel like chains to the old, chains to this devil energy, chains of control, where you can't turn up authentically as yourself. And you're being called to have the courage to face that and to be willing to walk away with the Eight of Cups on the other side. Face that you're not happy in these connections, even though those two are very happy cards. And I do think once you release yourself from that the pure connections that are meant for you will come in. But it's being willing to face that you're currently focusing on giving your energy to that which doesn't serve you, and it may well be time to walk away from that. The other thing I'm noticing about the moon and sun in this card is it looks like it's eclipsing, and we do have the partial solar eclipse on the 29th, which might actually bring about a sudden break of these chains, a sudden transformation within these relationships. We also have the Knight of Wands, which is a courage card, an action card that really speaks to the oracle messages that we were getting before of moving forward from that place of commitment to your path, but doing so in a way that is grounded and is planned. There's a lot of excitement in this card, and the pyramids are drawing my attention in the background there. Like, I feel like there's a number of us that are going to get really excited about the possibility, which is exactly what we need to do. But as we move forward, we just need to be really mindful of I'm actually going to clarify that one. Mindful of what, Spirit? What do we need to be mindful of with the Knight of Wands energy? Thank you. Ten of Wands. The Devil again. Page of Swords. Ten of Wands, the Devil, the Page of Swords. I think we need to be mindful that we've really thought about Nine of Wands at the bottom of the deck. really interesting because the message that seems to be coming through for me, there's two. We've really thought about how to go about it in a way that, how to go about moving forward from a place of excitement and passion and recreating our own path, turning up in alignment with our authenticity, speaking our truth, but thought about how to do that in a way in which the consequences of our actions in that regard don't impact our ability to have a positive influence on the world around us. And I just feel like that's that persecution again. Like, as we really step into this, there's so much that's coming through. As we step into this and walking this path, I think it needs to be careful. It needs to be planned and considered and constructed and studied and thought about. Because the risk is, if we move forward without thinking about how to go about that we will be persecuted, but not in the way that is aligned with our soul's destiny, in a way that is aligned with this need of control by those that don't want us walking this path, and that will isolate us and therefore remove our ability to positively influence the collective. And so that is all not to instill fear, but more in, I feel like it's this need to be creative about how we're doing this, how we're rebelling against the system, how we're turning up authentically in a way that kind of is subversive in a way that isn't easily detected. And I think that's why coming into connection with others that are walking the same path is so important right now. So why is the Eight of Cups here then, Spirit? Queen of Cups. So much cup energy. Actually might grab my Healing Waters deck in a second. Three of Swords, Two of Swords, Queen of Cups. So with the Eight of Cups being here, talking about walking away from other connections that exist within our life, I think it is that we're not necessarily recognizing how much these are restricting us or hurting us or stopping us from healing. And the longer we stay within those, like we're controlled in ways by things that we actually think we love or that we're meant to be in, or the ways in which our current, there's something about here about being trapped by current relationship structures. And that's probably not surprising to some, but I just get the feeling that the majority of those that I'm talking to don't actually recognize this right now. That they're not recognizing how relationships that look right on paper and are what we've been told we're meant to be searching for actually are keeping us stuck, held back, contained in ways. And so that may not necessarily be that we're needing to walk away from those relationships. For some, I do think it is going to be that. But we need to find a way, either within those relationships or by walking away from what they currently look like, to connect with our heart, to connect with our inner wisdom and intuition, to allow ourselves to really lean into this energy and then move forward from that place. And that it's going to be possibly really hard to really lean into this energy whilst there are people possibly within your life that are unintentionally or intentionally holding you back from that. What else do I need to know, Spirit? Anything else around that? That's 3 cards. I had just split the deck to the Hermit, and the Hermit's come out again, as well as the 6 of Wands and 6 of Swords, which is moving to calmer waters. I was going to say, I think many of us right now need to go within, watch a channeled message, because only by stepping into that energy, stepping into our heart, are we going to recognize what our own path looks like and what we need to do to get ourselves out of that energy of chaos, of fear, of control that we've existed within, and to release ourselves from that. And for some cases, that may be relationships and connections that we exist within, that may be environments, that may just be our own inner work we need to do. It may be all of the above. Ultimately, what we're wanting to step into is this energy of being able to be truly authentically ourselves and having a positive, passionate influence on the world, where other people recognize you for your heart, for your authenticity, and you share your light in that way, in the way that your soul came here at this point in time to share. 9 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. All right, I think we're done. Very interesting energy. A lot of self-introspection needed this week. 555 on the timer. Change needs to happen. Change needs to come. We all need to step into our path, but to really be able to do that will take courage. Both the courage to face what is within the shadows, within the dark, shining light and love onto that part of ourselves, recognizing the divine within ourselves, and then really carefully thinking about how to move forward in a way that might be different to what we've ever seen a movement or momentum come from in the past. And I do think there's something about water this week. So if you can get into, actually, that's what we're going to do before we close up, is I'm going to grab a card from my Healing Waters deck. If you can get yourself to a natural body of water this week, or connect with water in some meaningful way, that is what I'd encourage you to do. Messages with regards to our connection with water, our emotions, love, healing waters this week. Spirit, what do we need to know? Advice for the Mind Body Soul Transformation Collective, that's the best and highest good for all. Thank you. Okay, money. Just one card, please, Spirit. Let it go. Release the past. Forgive, soften, move forward. Clear waters at the bottom. Clear vision, confirmation, right timing, and opportunity. I'm just getting a surrender from this card. And coming back to the message I was getting around the tracker, like move forward by going with the flow, surrendering to your path, to releasing what needs to be released, to healing what needs to be healed, making me circle back to this message around the Knight of Wands and how we move forward in a way that doesn't end up in persecution, prosecution, and inhibits our influence. It's coming from this, from a different energy to which we would normally do. When we're lit up with this Knight of Wands kind of passion previously, it's like go, 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 action, must do this, this, and this. The advice here is to flow with it, to see what messages you receive, you pick up from the outside environment, you learn about, and do what seems to flow within the moment and context that you are within. All right, it's getting very warm in here with all this energy, so I'm wrapping up now. Wishing you a beautiful week ahead. I would love to hear if this message resonates with you. Sending you loads of love from my heart all the way into yours. Goodbye, everyone.